the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
For John Abdullahi Jinapo in a very big case. See, I mean, Ekasa Ija, Ekunichimpa. In fact, on one Kasa, Akopi Preno, Ababontain, Ababe, some confession be as a CEO, Bia, a Shanachim, papa. Anything. Now, what you are in terms of to just say, a ECG containers via or more Akofaba, I bet 2 Ira or a Tema Habo. Now, and this Aminu Kunia come out, say. Emombe crowd bi aibia ba ombeba ba emombe crowd project bi aba oman mu ha no etimi tu ayira yenkai eye en confirm John Dramani Mahama ekofa bae se si a me no ka sei eye John Abdullahi Jinapo energy minister ana wodi entu dwa say ECG missing containers no eye 1350 containers no omo atimi atrace mu ehu eye 40 no ewo warehouse bi a belonging to an Indian businessman bi na obi a ebisa say Esiden as our Indian businessman, what me access to a ECG containers makoma 40. Na sa 40 no, a hemfa ena ewo. Baby a one or say a weapon in a lower mania in eastern region. A ho, and I just say a warehouse no, a what one terminal warehouse be ewo. Na a ho, and I saw 40 out of the 1350 a ECG missing containers no. Aquaku USCA. Now will be a say. So containers no 40 no a two free temahabo and koko see eye ponho anase saying sa Indian business no Indian businessman no ni fie no anase no warehouse no e ho and tuko sisi John Abdullahi Jinapo and some obia e kan say and some way yetimi e ma beto an nsem enfa nkire enye de ya wonim hu bi e kwan a eye sa containers 40 no e fa so e koko piemu eye sa warehouse a e wo pon e ho no in fact ono ankasa atuna no mutu ana ama obi anso ka say John Jinapo ento ana nsem we enkire modern kan to bia kire ye mre bia mokofa confirm by this time around there ye nimsa confirm do mo ataban o metimi atu but containers we be there entimi entu emfa wiem eye mo ankasa ana mo so de gu kam a chese mo de akwakoguo ye ntie eye ensem a ekoso efa eye ECG missing containers no eho.
The briefing I got this morning, and let me comment the national security operatives and the law enforcement agencies. The information I got this morning is that already they've traced about 40 of them to a particular terminal or warehouse in Pune, which belongs to an Indian man of extraction, and they've confiscated all the 40 coins, and they are moving them to a secure location. The man indicates that those containers were sold to him last year. And so that's a subject of a matter of investigation, and the law enforcement agencies would ensure that the law takes its course. There are also reports of some other areas that they are picking intelligence. They will trace all of them, retrieve all the containers as soon as possible, and put the perpetrators before the courts of competent jurisdiction. Let me just sound that when we start prosecuting these people, let nobody come to say we are witch hunting. These are properties of the states. Every legitimate and legal means to ensure that we retrieve them and to hold all those behind these acts to account. And so we'll continue to work hard and ensure that we retrieve all these containers. We picked up this Indian in connection with this.
Now when you go to the ports, before a container moves from one terminal to the other, even when you ship your own car, just see the kind of processes it goes through, the signings that have to go through before a container, your own car, is moved from one terminal to the other. We have been told that 1,328 containers miraculously moved from one terminal, went through all the custom processes. Don't forget that it is consigned to ECG. So there's no way the container can move without the consent of ECG.
But it has moved now.
I'm now coming there.
It has moved. So don't say there's no way.
No, technically, I'm doing the proper way.
Yes. If it's applied.
Yes, the proper way. So what it means is that these containers move with the consent of ECG. It could not have moved at the Tema ports without the owner of the container. It's a process.
But isn't that
That is
an
if it was
ideal
moved
situation?
properly.
I'm coming.
If it was moved properly.
So you're saying that there's no way these containers can move?
I'm coming. When you go to the port,
Yes.
and Uncle C's car or my car
Yes.
arrives at the
No,
port.
I have not imported any.
No
car.
problem.
Yes. Let's get that straight.
So
I've
okay,
not
I get
imported
you. I
any
get you.
car.
I get you. I was just.
It's just.
Oh no, it's important
No,
that
no,
you
no.
clarify.
Why doesn't he use his own? Why me? Why not me?
Okay, so honorable, you have imported your car.
I'm imported right
Or,
now.
or Annie has imported his car.
Annie has
Why me?
No, please. Annie hasn't imported any car. I beg you.
Listen, what I was excited
Yes,
about
yes.
is the point he made that the managers of these institutions must answer.
No, you're still trying to explain to me
I'm coming.
how this couldn't have happened without the tacit
It's
involvement
not,
of
it's not even
ECG
possible.
officials.
Yes. It is confined to ECG. The containers are
And it
confined
couldn't
to
have been
ECG.
stolen from
So when you go to the port,
the ECG.
1,300, I'm sure, you see the way it was packed.
Yes.
The cranes must be moving.
Yes.
The officials at the port, custom officers and everything, must know that there's a crane moving a container to another port or another site within the port to exit.
Well, that's
You
true.
cannot exit the Tema port without a written confirmation or a written authorization to move out. When you buy your car and get to the port, before you even drive your car out, you check. You go to this one particular point, they check all your documentations, so it is stamped. You move to another point, it is stamped. These are all checks at the port.
What if all those what if all those officials or officers who are supposed to do this have all been compromised?
Absolutely. That's the point I'm making. I'm saying that this couldn't have happened. It's not magic. It means there are people within ECG, there are people at the port who knew the movement of these containers.
Now we a minister. What quarter my port ho? As a mark inspector was so called energy when you see for Dean Comono. Almost more challenge be challenging in say or my import to Niema. Containers ababe good to my port. But umunti mi enyi skasemunti ama demorage yachi containers no. Eti wo no mo quarter my port ho e ko hwe containers e ko kan. Mo kan wie na ya press conference. And I will say Mababehu containers about 3,000 containers worth this amount. Na a car or mudie I say a car or mudi e whatever port. Yes, I buy as I buy almost and I will chastise the management of ECG. So I want to say Obutimina what Masaka Iba. Busumiachi was my quiet audit. Na 3,000 na wosu ko hu ye no afi ye ko kan ye no 1,350 a film first suspect almost half ko first suspect e ginapo
say una ko kan be catch
because ye tiga na ye nim figure bia say ECG for containers this quantity e wo ho una be kan ye and wasan be ka say swat say it first suspect e ginapo
so no hu say first one be twa nkontompo na manfo ebete agunu so nti obeka bibi di atete
me wo ayi scenarios bebre ida say John Jinapo any ECG for aye awe and almost we on my Ghana
say bia koton adi
because ebeye de be nwanwa say within a month 1,350 containers and yet 1,350 shoes yet 350 pairs of shoes containers
and mobile phones
containers back there is 120 feet
and no nipa ntimi nsoa say kokurisi car so
eti ade we say ka say hwemu dia I just some live enquiry me obi ahwe ko TV so say because supervisors e wo get a port national security for e wo holomo port mpani for holomo and go through so many processes and sana.
So let's come to whether there is a motive behind it. I believe so. I believe this current NDC government is a threat to our judiciary. And every right-thinking Ghanaian must rise up. Why do I think so? Especially the Chief Justice. They already have a bone to pick with her. You remember recently, just about 4 or 5 months ago, when the Speaker of Parliament tried to illegally grab power from the High Court under Article 99 by removing those 3 or 4 members of parliament. The judiciary had opportunity to first make pronouncements. And when they asked them, we are going to look at the substantive issue later. But in the meantime, let's preserve the status quo. The Speaker of Parliament, who is an acting member of the NDC, he had a press conference, or he was in a gathering. I heard him, not that somebody said it. I heard him say the judiciary, the judiciary at the highest level, and the Speaker was in bed, and they were sinning against the Constitution. The Speaker of Parliament, the current Speaker of Parliament said it. And when the Speaker of Parliament lawyer went to court in an attempt to defend the Speaker position, there was a lot of hot exchanges to the point that the Speaker of Parliament was so, the Chief Justice was so frustrated that she even asked, what are you doing? Okay. I've already told you, there were some exchanges in the Supreme Court whereby a lawyer was openly exchanging with the members of the judiciary. And the Chief Justice...
Which lawyer is this?
Listen, I was in court. I was part of that.
You know that.
Yes. What is talking about?
So let me count. So you pay me out. You pay me out.
Participant.
You will pay me out.
No, so I was in court.
I wasn't in court.
Yeah, so you didn't see what happened.
No, it doesn't matter. But I saw with the telly. I mean, sometimes when we sit home, we see better than what those of you inside there. This is why I don't go to events in Independence Square. When I sit home, I sit proper than you do. But I saw the Chief Justice expressing frustration.
Yes.
Don't you have respect for members of the bench anymore? Because this lawyer was directly exchanging. And as I said, there's a judicial courtesy. I'm training the English system, I'm training the Ghanaian system. The system everywhere, because this is Commonwealth country, we borrow them from there. Whenever your colleague is about to speak, not a judge, your colleague is about to speak, and the judge signals to your colleague, you ought to sit down. And here is the case, a judge is exchanging with a lawyer, and the lawyer is standing and refuses to sit. This was the frustration the Chief Justice expressed.
How is that related to the petition?
No, what I'm saying is that it was everywhere that the Chief Justice have taken sides.
Oh.
And this is how he's expected.
Okay, based on that
TV
interaction.
Everywhere. The second where they said there was a misbehavior was the fact that the Chief Justice expressed, why is Parliament not sitting? Why is Parliament not sitting?
Do you have the petition?
Said that,
do you have the petition to say that these are the stated misbehavior?
No, what I'm saying is...
Now conjecture.
Yes, and we are allowed to. We are allowed to.
No, let us...
We are allowed to.
No, let's do something that is not part of...
When she said that,
listen, you are just
she said that in reference to the point that the court has already made an order. Parliament should resume as normal. The status quo is preserved until the substantive matter is stated. And you can also know that the Afrobarometer report, the members of the NDC had polluted the minds of everybody about our judiciary to the extent that this reflected in the Afrobarometer report.